I had this thought how cool it would be if there was a place that we all could go and gather together. I know that's going to sound a little crazy, but bear with me here. So, I've been in the system for quite some time. I've experienced the good, the bad, and the ugly. I've can tell you what not to do in a courtroom, and I can tell you that they do not like your emotions and that they don't honestly care about you. And I know that sounds like horrible to say that, but it's the truth. And we're trying to do two things here. The first thing is we need reform. We need accountability in these courtrooms. Okay. We need to have oversight committees. We should be entitled to jury trials. And we need other people to start listening. Because the only way that we're going to bring change to the system is to get people who aren't in the system actually listening. And the way that we're going to be able to do that is by articulating ourselves, by equipping ourselves with the proper tools in order to captivate people and get their attention. And I know this sounds like a manipulation and a game, and it should just be like we could go out and we could do that. And you're right, we absolutely could, but it would take us a heck of a lot longer to do it by kicking and screaming and looking like complete crazy people than it does by actually saying, you know what? Let's get healthy. Let's learn what we need to learn and let's bring some change. So, if you listen this far, thank you. And you're probably asking yourself, how the heck do we do that? Well, that goes back to my idea of what if there was a place? What if there was a nonprofit that we could start, okay? And there could be a place that people who have experienced the post-separation abuse, the people who have experienced, the injustice going on in family court, those people that we could go to. And in these places, there would be counselors, psychiatrists, people that could actually help us find our confidence. Because, look, the fact is when you go through this, when you really go through this, you have an emotional breakdown. It's that simple. There's no if, ands, or buts. It does happen. And to be honest, that's the abuser's goal. Make us have an emotional breakdown, make us look like we're completely crazy, make us look like we're conspiracy theorists, and that way they can go in there and they can do what they need to do. And they win that way. And we play right into it because that's what happens in abuse. On top of having those counselors, we could have what they like to call life coaches, people who actually make a lot of money. Believe it or not, I know a lot of people don't believe in it, but when you actually find like someone who believes in positivity and sits there and talks about it, is grateful for their, the things in their life that is taking care of themselves, and you surround yourself with people like that, you're going to become like that. And when you become like that, you're going to find out who you're supposed to be and what your purpose is. And they always say that when you find your purpose, nothing can stop you. When you actually believe in yourself and you're not afraid and you take that leap of faith and you get uncomfortable, then you can become successful. You can accomplish a lot of things. And there are a lot of women and men and people like that out there who can offer that to us. We can bring in social media influencers to teach us what we need to do on social media in order to gain attention. Because let's face it, the news is not going to air these stories. It's not going to happen until something happens to the child. I've been told by multiple news stations, I've read things that sit there and say it's a legality issue. They're too afraid to be sued, so they're not going to play these stories. So what we have is the ability of social media. And if we can learn how to use it appropriately, if we can learn what we need to do to, have our voices heard in a positive, impactful way, then we could get our message out there. I would also bring in like lawyers or retired judges. Lawyers could teach us about the law, how to look things up, how to look our most basic state laws up. Judges could come in and they could, do mock sessions with us. They can show us what they're looking for, how to present ourselves on a level that's beneficial. Because look, the fact is, as much as we want it to change, and it should change, and it shouldn't be about, having to be a certain way or act a certain way, we live in a world that if you don't have money, if you don't act a certain way, if you don't do what they want you to do, then you're screwed. It's a game. That's all this is to them. It's a game. It's a business. Family court is a business. The divorce industry is a $50 billion business a year. Think about that. $50 billion. You have judges who are making six figures. You have judges that are running for senator places, congressmen, Supreme Court justices, all of these things. It is a political game. So as much as we want to sit there and scream and shout, and we want to say, we want our rights, because you're right, we are entitled to our rights, we're going to have to do it in a way that gets people to listen. And right now, what I've seen going on out here, sure, we get some people to listen, but not in the way that we need them to. We need people to actually take interest in this. There's a little girl out there right now who's been crying out for help. Why hasn't the news picked up that story? So I just thought, how cool would it be to go to a place like that where you could get all the education you need, where you can heal yourself up, and then you can come out? Because worst case scenario is that, I hate to say it, but you may not be able to see your kids until they're older. You may have to accept the fact that you're never going to see your kids again. And you're going to have to deal with the fact that you know that your kids are going to have a very tough road ahead if it is a true abusive situation. And if they ever do come back, you don't want to be this broken person. You want to be a whole person. You want to stand for yourself. You want to be able to sit there and love on them and show them that there is a way out. Because if this is truly, truly an abusive situation, your kids one day will come back home. And they're going to need you to be at your best. And if for some reason they don't, you want to be happy. You want to be healthy. Because the way that an abuser wins is by destroying a human being. That is their whole objective, is to destroy that human being. So I just thought it would be kind of like a really cool little place to go to. I don't know.